Wingate, the Chief Executive, earlier today.
Having many of our passengers be able to go abroad on holiday or visit friends and then come back and not have to quarantine is very important to stimulate demand. And about 75% of the destinations that we'd normally fly to are now open for our passengers to travel to and from without the need to quarantine. So it's a really important day for us.
And what actually changes today in terms of flights coming in and out of Gatwick, and how will that develop over the coming days and weeks?
Well, we've been ramping up for a number of weeks now. So during June time, we had EasyJet return to the airport flying primarily domestic routes. And as we've moved into July with the news that many passengers now don't have to quarantine, we're seeing a lot more of our international airlines return to the airport. EasyJet has started flying to the European destinations again. And that means that as we go through July and into August time, we should steadily ramp up operations at the airport. By the time we get into August time, we're expecting to see about 300 to 400 flights every day.
And what actually changes in terms of the passenger experience in the airport?
Well, we put a lot of effort into particularly the hygiene and the sanitation of the airport. So as you can see, everybody at the airport are wearing masks. So we ask that everybody does that. We also have lots of hand sanitisation stations spread throughout of the airport and hand washing facilities. And we have perspex screens to protect our staff, but also to protect passengers. And we're doing very deep cleans of the airport with new technologies to try to minimise any risk to passengers and staff.
Now, of course, COVID-19 has had a massive impact on the aviation industry, and with British Airways consolidating its short-haul flights at Heathrow, Virgin Atlantic moving its long-haul flights to Heathrow, how sustainable a business is this for Gatwick long-term?
Well, we're very confident about our medium to long-term prospects, but right now we're really focused on the rest of this summer. So having our big airlines start flying again is very important to us. EasyJet, as I've already said, have started flying to and from the airport in the middle of June, so this is where they put their first flights on. We're expecting to see British Airways return over the coming weeks. Norwegian are flying backwards and forwards to Scandinavia already. And today we're announcing that TUI will start operations into the Spanish resorts from tomorrow.
Do you feel that the industry has had enough support from the government to survive this?
Well, we've worked very closely with the government throughout. We very much welcome the furlough scheme. We have about 75% of our staff who are eligible for furlough currently on furlough. As the volumes start to ramp up, we'd hope to bring many of those staff back into work. But that will be between now and the end of October time. So that was a very important part of the government support for us and our industry. But today's announcement of passengers being able to travel quarantine-free when they return is really what we've been pushing for over the last few weeks. I suppose our next ask of government from a Gatwick perspective is to get the Portuguese market opened up, and then all of our major European markets will be operating again.
With a big question mark over the third runway at Heathrow, how do you see the aviation industry in London and the UK changing over the next 5 years or so?
Well, the fundamentals of Gatwick remain very strong. We've got a very strong catchment area, and London and the South East as a destination appeals to many people right across Europe and the world. From a Gatwick perspective, we do expect to be consulting on the use of our northern runway in 2021. So despite the pandemic and despite the COVID impacts on our business in the very short term, certainly we're proposing to take forward plans to use our standby runway and to grow our airport before the end of the decade.
So an optimistic note there from Stewart Wingate, who's the Chief Executive of London Gatwick Airport. But there's just no denying that there really is a mountain to climb, not just for this airport really, but for the whole aviation industry. Another big question here at Gatwick is the future of all the people who are employed here, 3,300 people directly employed by Gatwick, 500 of those already gone. So much uncertainty just about how many passengers will be wanting to come back, wanting to fly over the summer, and it's just far from a return to normal, as you can see. Hannah.
OK, Paul Barber talked to us there from Gatwick Airport. Thank you very much, Paul.